tech logs now, brother. Please. When are you going to talk about Akash Singh leaving the Flagrant podcast? What the what are you talking? What is that? I don't have any opinions on this. I did not know that this is a thing that happened. This is still more important news than British people's politics. I disagree. I think it's a very important thing that took place in Britain yesterday, that fascism is growing. Akash's wife basically bragged about him being a cuck, and now his career is ruined. Yes, I'm embarrassed. I listened to Flagrant. Wait, what? Is he actually a cuck? Like, I don't get it. Okay, now I'm actually invested. What happened? Was she cheating on him? No, dude, she made him look like a cuck. She has embarrassed him on multiple occasions about their sex life. More than just that, she was shitting on him too. I think it was just jokes, and Akash didn't discipline her like the Flagrant audience wanted, and Flagrant audience got on his ass. She was sleeping around before they met, bragged about getting her pussy popped, and said she wanted to leave him at his lowest. So basically, she was bragging about how she was sleeping around a ton in uni and making fun of him. Okay. She talked about how she slept around in college and now people are calling him a cuck. Wait, I don't get it. Do people think that like most people get married as virgins or something? Like what's the problem? Okay, she slept around in college. The brutal humiliation of a mid-tier comedian, Patrick CC from 4 months ago,
this
with mother 1.3 million views. What the
humiliated in front of the entire world and does not know how to make it stop. Akash Singh is mostly known as being the sidekick to Andrew Schultz on the Flagrant podcast. His wife Jasleen recently started creating content that many
stud, by the way,
feel is shocking or distasteful coming from a married woman.
Sometimes I get so painfully nostalgic for college. So for context, I went to college from 2011 to 2016. I was popping my and living my best life in these white boy frat houses, and I had a roster of guys that I would rotate.
This is not.
Ooh. I mean, like, I think it's normal for someone to have a healthy sex life before and after marriage. It's a little disrespectful when you're a married person. I feel like, am I crazy to say that? I feel like it's because you're literally saying that your past life when you were, her words, not mine, popping your pussy for white boys in frat houses was far better than your current predicament when you're popping your pussy for your husband. It's not the experiences that she had. It's how she's reflecting on them that I think makes it a little bit different. Does that make sense? Because, like, look, I'm a fairly confident guy in the tools that I'm working with. One thing I will say is this, the way that she's delivering this information, perhaps in an embellished manner, exclusively for shock and awe, because she's trying to make content out of it, will definitely lead some people to, like, even the fact that she has those thoughts is normal. I don't think that's abnormal. I mean, when you're young and you have no obligations, no responsibilities, don't have kids to take care of, like, that's a fun time, and it's normal for people, adults who are married, to look back at that time fondly and be like, man, I used to be crazy, right? That all of that stuff is fine. All that stuff is normal. It's just when you say it out loud in this way, in a format like this, of course people are gonna hear exactly what you're saying and make up their minds about the shortcomings of the other person.
Not a two-way street. This is a one-way street. His money is our money, and my money is my money.
And if you think those clips are bad, trust me, it gets so much worse. Like when she expressed how badly she wanted to sleep with her co-host's husband.
Would y'all ever have an orgy together with your husband? Priya, I'm actively trying to have an orgy because this couple is so good looking, and you haven't seen Nav yet, but wait till you fucking see him. Maybe. I just know that Nav's dick is like at least 10 inches. You would only be down for an orgy if it's thick.
Jasleen regularly
Oh my God, that's okay, that's... Oh, brother. Am I being baited? Am I being baited? This is like this. Okay, chat. The way that chatter framed the story led me to believe that this was like incel. This was like a very incel perspective. That's pretty crazy. It's like the equivalent of Akash running around and being like, "Damn, I really want to. I want to." The shit out of that woman or this woman, you know what I mean? And that would be very disrespectful to her. This is, I mean, it kind of is it is a little disrespectful, like beyond the gender dynamic at play. Obviously, it's a patriarchal society. People will run with even like totally modest statements to make it seem like it's a big deal. This definitely is a lot worse. She refused to kiss him on the mouth too. Someone tell him. What? She refused to... What are you... What?
Romanticizes sleeping with other men, films her arguments with Akash to post on TikTok, brags about being a gold digger, and actively refuses to kiss her husband in public, not even during his proposal. This is the type of relationship that 99% of you watching pray you will never find yourself in. But anyone who criticizes Jasleen and the potential harmful influence she may have on couples, she calls them incel red pillars. Then again, it's somewhat understandable considering sometimes the right message can come from the wrong messenger, because Akash was actually warned by the Fresh and Fit podcast that he was going to find himself in this exact type of situation. And even though Akash and Andrew host a comedy podcast, they often dabble in more serious, broader social commentary, which led to them inviting on the Fresh and Fit guys to discuss some of their views on masculinity.
Cock's not doing well right now, bro. They being attacked from all sides. Don't they like it though? I don't know how the cuck stuff works. Isn't that like a kink where you're like kind of busting fat nuts when everybody's humiliating you? If humiliation is a part of the whole, aren't we technically participating in the kink when we actually shame a cuck, like inadvertently? I don't know how I don't know how any of this shit works.
And relationships.
Yeah, the cuck has all the power technically.
Many of which Akash disagreed with. He was particularly bothered by this phrase or relationship philosophy that Fresh and Fit used that said, pimp or be pimped.
One person in the relationship.
Unc Foreign's video on Akash is better. Dog, it's 53 minutes. It's 50. It's 50 3 minutes long, man. I need the cliff notes, you know?
Whoever cares less.
Wait, Sean C also covered it. His wife hates him. Dude, what the this is like, this seems like it was, yeah, this was happening like 4 months ago. What the was I doing? I had no idea this was popping.
Has the leverage, and we want the guy to always care less.
We
want the man to always have the leverage.
Childish as
and you guys might not like hearing that.
Childish.
But we truly feel.
I'm not. These aren't new beliefs, bro. You're not telling me some shit none of us have ever heard. We all heard this from fraternity.
It kind of sucks that she basically was like, no, they're right. She was like, I bet. Like, I can't believe it because it's like clearly the Fresh and Fit guys are insane, right? And their worldview is around women hate. But I think people forget that, like, yeah, sometimes a lady can be maybe not super nice, you know? Like, it's just, we often forget, like, it doesn't mean that this is representative of all women in any way, shape, or form. You hate to see someone give so much ammunition to the people who are consistently wrong and horrible monsters in general.
However, Fresh and Fit were mostly known to say outlandish and straight up disrespectful things about women on a regular basis. So most people naturally sided with Akash's view of equity and equality in relationships, as well as understood his general frustration towards the...
Like, I think he could be in a horrible predicament in his relationship personally, but like his points that he's making, the broader points that he's making are not wrong, right? Like the broader points that he's making about like these guys being clownish, childish, filled to the brim with women hate, that I do agree. It's just that, you know, it's clear that he's not in, at least from my outsider's perspective, from the couple clips that I just saw, I was like, that's not looking too great, you know? That's just not looking too great for our boy Akash, okay? Not looking great at all. It seems there's something going on there. Maybe he likes it. If he does, you know, more power to him, right? Maybe he enjoys the humiliation. Maybe it's a fetish. Maybe he likes being in a relationship like that. You're getting clip chimped hard. I mean, is there a, like, what is the clip chimp like in this situation where she goes, haha, I'm just kidding. I'm in a loving relationship. And this is how I would portray myself, fantasizing about the large penis of my podcast co-host husband is what I would say if I was portraying myself as a bad partner. Bro, she said girthy. She said 10 inches. Then she said girthy, you know, like what's the clip? What is it when the clip ends? She goes, as soon as the clip ends, she goes, haha, I was just kidding. Obviously, I would never say these things.
But before we dive deeper, I want to talk about one of the most disturbing industries in America, data brokers. They provide reports like this that have information about you, including flagrant and fresh and fit flagrant and one comment that stood out in this episode was where Jasleen discusses her and her husband's finances.
Man that doesn't want to have a joint bank account or isn't being transparent with his accounts or has separate accounts, that's a red flag. And I will say it again.
Bro, why is this any of our business? Great question. I think it's because they're all content creators.
And because I know there's going to be already like incel troll mother. This is not a two-way street. This is a one-way street. His money is our money and my money is my money. And look, have I only made $600 from content creating?
Wow, it went up $100 from
Oh, she's rage baiting here. Like, this is 100% rage baiting. You can tell from the tone that she's taking that is rage bait. But, you know, and I don't really care about her saying this, but the other stuff is like kind of up.
But that's my money, okay? So just so we're clear, no, that's actually a red flag because I know so many girls in my life personally that have been with guys that weren't transparent about money and they ended up being terrible in other aspects and like people ended up breaking up in divorces, et cetera, et cetera. So that is actually my number one. They must be generous with their finances from day one.
For context, Jasleen is not a celebrity by any means. She does not have a job of her own and has only been able to build her internet following thanks to her husband supplementing her lifestyle. And this is not a dig at her at all. She talks about this a lot in her content, and some even think she brags about it.
Okay, hi, my name is Jasleen, and these are things that I do as a stay-at-home wife. Or sorry, I don't do. I don't cook, I don't clean, and I don't do my husband's laundry. I feel that I don't have to do things to justify or prove my worth that I'm allowed to do this.
Now, some may interpret this as just jokes, but she also frequently posts day in my life videos where she romanticizes her routine of doing essentially nothing all day long.
I actually do this. I just do this. Like, I sit here. This.
Now, if this is the agreement this couple has in their relationship, then that's fine. It is what it is. Being a stay-at-home wife or mother is absolutely nothing to be ashamed of, but it's the aggressive tone and entitlement she gives off that has earned her the label of a gold digger, something that she subtly implies to be.
Now, like, people are like, oh, that's gold digging or that's something. No, it's not.
Okay, then I'm digging.
Yeah.
If that wasn't bad enough, Jasleen frequently discusses other men that she would like to cheat on her husband with.
I never watched that show, but like he's on my
Yeah, that is the only thing that I think, like her being like, I'm a gold digger, I'm a stay-at-home mom. I don't give a about any of that shit. I actually don't give a about any of this. Even this part of the, why am I watching this? God damn it, I got hooked. The hook was so compelling. Oh my God. Oh my God, what am I doing? How did I get here? How did we get here? Okay, well, I'm already invested. I have to see more of it.
Oh, yeah.
Chase Crawford, Jacob Elordi, Austin Butler.
Now, some people see the whole celebrity crush thing as unserious because the celebrity feels so distant, so unreachable, that it's basically the same thing as fantasizing about a fictional character. Like, it's not really cheating because in their minds the situation is so unrealistic that it becomes harmful.
Yeah, because it is. I'm telling you, man, there's a difference between someone being like, oh, these are my hall passes or whatever. It literally is. Versus saying that about your podcast co-host husband. Those are like, those are in entirely different zip codes. I don't give a shit about her also being like, oh, I'm a bad wife or whatever all that stuff is irrelevant. But there is a level of disrespect beyond that.
Harmless. Others see this as straight up openly admitting they'd hook up with someone else that wasn't their husband because celebrities are just people too, after all.
That him in that movie like did kind of like rewire my sexual.
But is that your type, Ranbir Kapoor?
Not anymore, but like he was so hot and tall, and he's like Mera Naam Bunny, like Bugs Bunny, and I was like, okay.
But Ghislaine didn't just openly fantasize about sleeping with other famous men.
Yeah, this stuff this is incel rage bait. I mean, the way that they're interpreting this stuff, it's kind of like what's going on here is this. There is some things that she has absolutely said that are pretty fucked up in a normal, healthy relationship. But the kernel of truth at the heart of this story is being padded by unlimited amounts of misogynistic framework, right? And I feel like that's what's going on, where it's like she's, you know, perhaps not the best partner, or maybe she is the best partner for Akash. I have no idea, right? Depends on if he's happy or not, because I have no assessment. I have no way to know what's in his heart. I have no way to know what the internal dynamic of this relationship is. So all of this is just people from the outside interpreting the relationship and what it looks like, and adding a ton of extra stuff to really pad the deck. I know this because like I often am on the receiving end of a lot of like smear operations where they'll like take a perspective that I have, a real perspective that I hold, and they will bastardize it to the 11th degree, adding on a whole bunch of things that'd be like, oh, these are the anti-communist perspectives that I already had, and all of the baggage that I already have, I'm applying to this individual. Luffy's Afro, all roads lead to Hassan. I mean, I'm a content creator by trade, so I'm just trying to use my own personal experiences here to offer additional insight.
Quite literally admitted to wanting to sleep with her co-host husband, Nav.
Would y'all ever have an together with your husband?
Yeah, that part, this is, I'm going to skip it. It's too much. It's too much to see. This is too much. This is, oh God. Okay, f it, I'll play it again.
This couple is so good looking, and you haven't seen Nav yet, but wait till you see him. His body goes crazy. His face card always slays, never declines. And it's kind of weird because I'm talking about your husband.
No, I kind of love it, but I'm like, us for it? Okay, maybe.
I just know that Nav's dick is like at least 10 inches.
You would only be down for an orgy if we
or
did
it's
it?
thick. It's thick.
The original question was a joke about all four of them sleeping together. However, Ghislaine only talks about Nav and never mentions her own husband, even excluding him from the hypothetical and talking about a three-person situation. Nahal clearly attempts to steer the conversation back to the dynamic being four people to respect Akash, while Ghislaine continues to fantasize about Nav. To make matters worse, only minutes later in the podcast, they bring their husbands on, where Akash is forced to sit next to the man.
What? Oh my God, brother.
His wife was just fantasizing about having sex with, and she once again brings up having a threesome with Nahal and Nav while Akash is sitting right there.
I'm a hustler who scams a little bit. I'm not a scammer who hustles.
I'm not gonna lie, that was sexy, and that's why I'm actively trying to have an orgy.
Even at the end of the episode, Ghislaine once again, completely unprovoked, states that she wants to sleep with Nav.
On the main character pod, we love you, we hate you,
I guess
we respect you.
We love you, but I actually love you in one of all of them.
You would be hard-pressed to make a compelling argument that Ghislaine is only joking when she brought up this topic multiple times. And when we get to hear from Akash directly about his perspective of their relationship, you almost get this sense of relief from him that he finally can express how he really feels about Ghislaine's behavior.
When she's running 2 hours late to a dinner reservation that I worked really hard to get, and then I'm like, baby, we're running late, and she's like, are you kidding me? Do you know? I don't give a if we're late to this dinner. They're lucky to have us. And I'm like, oh, that's what we're doing. #1 restaurant in the New York Times. You know how hard a reservation
she's like, call them right now. Call them right now. This is not a fun session.
I'm not even joking. This is how main character I am. I was like, Sema will be lucky.
Yeah, okay, she's just like a annoying person. Like, that's okay. That's what it is. Okay, yeah. She is designed in a laboratory to make incels scream in agony, I think. To go, I told you so. She's just spoiled. She's a spoiled, annoying person. Case closed.
And here's the rule in our marriage. It's been unspoken, but now we're just saying it now that we're both making content. If it's funny, we're good. Like, if it's funny, and if it's not funny and it hurt the other person's feelings, you apologize, you move on.
Any logical person understands this is an extremely slippery slope, because literally anything can be passed off as a joke or an attempt to make a joke. Like this video she posted to TikTok, where you can hear them both chuckling from time to time, but it's clear they are both frustrated and quite literally just documenting themselves having an argument.
Do you know what my husband just tried to do to me?
Yeah.
Bro, I think this dude in some ways kind of like, I mean, she's hot, right? And he just was like, oh, I hit the lottery. You know, I swung above, I swung for the fences and I kind of secured some here, and then that's it. And he's just getting humiliated after successfully punching up. Are you trying to f her too? No, what the f wrong with you? Her personality is in my opinion, like everything that I've seen thus far. Hassan, I want you to know you have undone years of growth with 1,000 people in your audience. Their incel has been reawakened and being empowered to 2016 levels. No, being an incel would cause you to apply this not to the individual, but like across the board to all women. The point is, yeah, there's gonna be people that are just not great. Okay, that's it. People do this all the time, where they make broad generalizations about entire subsects of the population off of like one individual action, especially if it pairs up with an anecdote, right? People have had moments of weakness or like bad experiences and whatnot, and they just like apply it broadly to all women across the board. And that's where you become an incel. It's unbelievably stupid. But I will say that everything I've seen thus far is so crazy that I thought it was like a preordained arrangement where they just know they're both leaning into it or something. Would you allow Dua Lipa to do this to you? No, dude. There's no one on the planet that I would ever allow to treat me this way, because I have self-respect. No disrespect, but like I don't think anyone should allow. I mean, unless they enjoy it. That's why I keep saying maybe he enjoys it, right?
We're leaving. Shut up. We're leaving in Paris in 5 hours, so tensions are a little high. We also just redid our closet.
This is all her closet now. She took the whole closet.
Which we already agreed.
I mean, this stuff is nothing. This is irrelevant. Like little arguments here and there is totally irrelevant. It's just, I think the one that pushes it over the limit is like the way she speaks about her podcast co-host husband, and then also in front of Akash himself. Like that is actually disrespectful. I do think the overwhelming majority of content creators in the manosphere would still make this exact same video even if she didn't say things like that. But at that point, you know, I don't think they would have that same argument. I don't think it would be as applicable.
Akash is the Indian Will Smith. Bro, Akash married the girl Fresh and Fit warned you not to marry. She's the embodiment of what Fresh and Fit said to avoid. Akash's rejection of Fresh and Fit's ideology now looked more like a defensive response born out of insecurity, considering her previous comments about her cheating on her husband, the unapologetically consumerist lifestyle that he funds, and the clear unsettling tension she
the unapologetically consumerist lifestyle that he funds. Like, oh, come on, man. Yeah, bro, they're rich. Like, why do also wealthy YouTubers make it seem like they live this ascetic lifestyle whenever they are farming outrage for other content creators? It's like, bro, you literally have a massive YouTube channel with 2.48 million subscribers. Like, just because there's no insight into how you live your life. Like, what is this? What is this count? What is this argument that you're presenting? Like, oh, it's an unbelievably lavish lifestyle that Akash provided for this bad woman. It's like, come on, dude.
has with Akash made many question what her true...
Yeah, she's just narcissistic and annoying, and the internet has obviously fed into some of those personality flaws, and she's just farming. She's just rage baiting to a degree. He can still critique it. No, that part is stupid. It's a stupid thing to critique. What do you mean? Like that's not an adequate or apt critique of this relationship. That's my point. That's my argument. Because it's opulent. This is opulence. This is opulence for you. That they live in an apartment where they were capable of. I mean, they're rich enough to live in an apartment where they have a closet. This is, wow, look at that. The peak of abundance. It's like Laura Loomer literally fucking taking a creep shot of me sleeping on the plane. being like, see, the lap of luxury. But you want to defend opulent consumerism? I forgot that every single person that I talk to on the internet actually has a barrel strapped to their chest and are not typing this away from their Connecticut McMansions that their finance executive parents own. You know, forgot that this is, forgot that chatters are tuning in from a stolen Wi-Fi in a McDonald's bathroom off of their phones that they also stole. Everyone in Twitch has a blue-collar worker. Yeah.
As people took notice of a very strange pattern of behavior, that being her tendency to avoid kissing Akash, and even straight up dodging his kisses when he tries to initiate.
I don't know anything. She's a good liar. Then she's a good liar. That's a friend that lies for you and not to you.
And this was not just a one-time occurrence. Entire compilations have been created showing just how often Ghislaine avoids kissing her own husband. To make matters worse, not only did she dodge a kiss from Akash during their marriage proposal, but she also dodged his kiss a second time when he proposed to have their vows renewed. But Ghislaine says it's nothing more than her being uncomfortable with public displays of affection.
I'll also respond to the people saying I don't like my husband because I turned away from a kiss. I've never liked PDA.
How do you not become a simp? Have confidence in yourself, man. That's it. So much of the stuff that becomes a big deal on the internet is just about being devoid of confidence. If you're a self-assured person, it doesn't matter.
Physical touch, I find it really overstimulating, and so it's something I actually work through with my husband because that's his love language.
Now, having issues with PDA are extremely common. However, it is worth considering all of the other things Ghislaine has no problem doing on camera. She's constantly talking about sex on her podcast and on her TikTok, not to mention the fact that she posted an entire video where she is clearly not wearing any pants, getting treatment for a bruise she got during sex. And as if it couldn't get worse, she also flirts with the doctor.
Also, I heard you're single. Is that true?
We'll go back to treating.
So she has no problem posting.
Okay, so, you know, Akash is laying it down, right? Isn't that evidence that they are I feel so bad for this dude, man. Akash Singh's wife, Jasleen, thinks Desi girls are going to white men because brown boys are trash.
Don't blame the brown girls for going to white men. Blame yourself and your friends for being trash options. Now, before you're like, wait, Justine, not all.
Oh my God, she's hitting every angle. I swear to God, she is like a professional. She was built in a laboratory to piss off every brown boy. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. It's like, it literally feels like, she just designs these takes in a laboratory. Yeah, I think we just shouldn't have the internet. That's what I think. She got a taste of like negative reaction and she loved it. She loved the attention, so she's just like farming it. It's rage bait. I mean, she might believe it too. I don't really give a shit whether she believes it or not, but it's like clear that she's leaning into it.
Now, Ghislaine constantly claiming that she has main character energy is particularly interesting. This is supposed to mean that you are liberated from others' judgment and confident in yourself. But for some, saying you have main character energy is just an acceptable way to admit that you are a narcissist. And narcissists tend to lie about everything, which is why many refused to believe Ghislaine when she said that she was a virgin before meeting Akash. Akash has previously stated that he and Ghislaine were both virgins before they met.
My wife also hadn't had any partners, so that helped us connect a lot more.
Now, let me ask you this: do you believe her?
Why is it? What? You said, why is it so terrible to be insecure? Can you not stand up and deliver some hopeful masculinity? What do you mean? What most people perceive as masculinity is just genuinely confidence anyway. What the are you talking about? What? No, being insecure is not a positive thing. It's not a positive trait at all. What? It's coupled with sexual dominance? What are you saying, brother? What?
If you've seen her, then it's hard to believe. Yeah. I remember I was just like, what?
Ghislaine, in a separate podcast, made the same statement.
I was at the point where I was ready, because I don't know if you told her, because I was.
Oh no, I didn't know you were a virgin too.
So I was a virgin too when I met him.
However, posts made by Ghislaine herself tell a completely different story, like the one where she reminisces on the days she spent in college, passing herself around to other men.
Sometimes I get so painfully nostalgic for college. So for context, I went to college from 2011 to 2016. I was popping my and living my best life in these white boy frat houses, and I had a roster of guys that I would rotate.
Now, technically, she doesn't say that she was sleeping with them, but it is heavily implied. And despite many feeling like they
What do you mean? She said she was popping her pussy. What the f does that imply? I mean, that's what it is, right?
her in a lie, she surprisingly doubled down in a response to the criticism, claiming that she did in fact lose her virginity to Akash. Even though Jasleen has disabled the comments on her social media, preventing anyone from criticizing her on her own page.
Yeah, no, that would be like, see, this is the other stuff where it, like, in my opinion, it moves into the other territory where it's like, yeah, she's probably getting inundated with a barrage of incels that in some way she totally is leaning into.
She still sees the backlash, and her justification for acting the way she does online just makes everything so much worse. Jasleen has made a few public responses on her TikTok.
Oh, when she was saying she was popping her pussy, she didn't, she just meant like she was dancing?
Where she claims that she is being canceled, which is funny because she has nothing to be canceled from. But she mostly chalks up all the negative attention to just coming from red pillars and incels trying to cancel her because she doesn't fit the traditional wife role.
When you're a simple little boy, it just breaks their brain that a girl can like just be loved for simply existing. My husband loves me for simply existing. I don't have to cook or clean to justify my worth.
Now, nobody is saying that she needs to cook and clean and fit some 1950s idea of a trad wife to have value.
Okay, I think you just made a really good point, and I think this is real. Incels are attracted to toxic women like a moth to a flame, man, is so real. I think when you have like a healthy relationship, if you've had like a healthy dating life, you kind of, especially once you get to a certain age, you kind of see stuff like this and you're like, yeah, I would never be interested in this at all. I'm out, right? But I feel like a lot of incels that haven't had any relationships whatsoever, or have had like one relationship that went sour and then they just like developed their entire worldview around how like every woman is just like this person that wronged me, and that pushed them further and further into the depths of the manosphere and hating on women. They actively, in my opinion, seek out this kind of behavior where they can't look away. It's more so just almost just like ritualistic humiliation. It's a constant, desperate way to confirm your biases. You look for validation from other men who also have the same perspective as well. So in some ways, like, this woman is perfect for it. She's perfect because she does represent a lot of the qualities of what these incels present like all women as. Because like when I see stuff like this, I feel like this is just not for me. I look at this and I'm like, wow, okay, well, this person's kind of a asshole. And then it's over. I see it. I react to it. I think to myself, ew, whatever. And I move on with my life. Whereas I do feel like people have this insane obsession with, in many instances, let's be real, women, because that's what these guys are seeking out. They're looking at like women that behave in a certain way because they want to confirm their priors, they want to confirm their biases in an effort to reinforce their perspective. They don't see men behaving in a similar manner, or even if they do see men behaving in a similar manner, they don't perceive it in the same way, and it becomes this like obsession. It becomes this obsession that takes over what otherwise would be developing, what otherwise would be the time that you would be spending developing healthy relationships with real women in the real world, that would most likely cause you to understand that this person is not a representation of all women at all, as a matter of fact. It's like an unbelievably stupid opinion to have. It's very reactionary thinking. The idea that like this person is not like an individual, but a representative of an entire population. Would you say it's an abusive dynamic? Would it be abusive if he treated her like that? Genuine question. Do I think it's an abusive dynamic? It's entirely up to the individual. I don't know what the f is going on in their relationship. Why am I making an assessment on whether or not their relationship is abusive or not from the outside? They are choosing to show these things, these snippets. It's entirely dependent on consent, you know? we're just making assumptions off of like what she chooses to show the rest of the world and what he's comfortable with her choosing to show the rest of the world. People choose abusive relationships all the time. Yes, this is correct. But my point is, we don't know. We don't know enough. I'm not their relationship counsel, right? I'm not their therapist. I don't know. I think I've been pretty fair in my assessment here. There's like there's a good deal of padding in this story that is just like irrelevant and certainly massaged with a very specific framework that is there to farm a lot of outrage from people who feel like a lot of women are this way, right? It's leaning into that confirmation bias that people seek out. But having said that, she does have a lot of annoying tendencies. Maybe Akash likes it. And also, she has been disrespectful from my standards. If I was in his shoes, I'd be like, this is completely unacceptable. I would not be in this relationship at all. But that's my personal standards. That's my personal expectation from a healthy relationship. Might be very different for Akash, but I think that's a very fair and unfortunately not so common reasonable take that you can have.
But she does make an interesting point about the criticism she was receiving.
Why are you mad if me and my husband are cool with each other, if we both make
Okay, fair. That is low-key kind of fair, though. That's a fair
jokes
point.
at each other's expense? The difference is my husband will go on stage and say whatever the he wants about me. No one has anything to say. It's like, oh my God, it's so funny, it's so relatable. But then I come on TikTok and I make jokes and now you have a problem because I don't have a mic in my hand?
Ironic.
To be fair, I have no idea what Akash's takes are on the relationship, so I don't know. We've only seen one side of it.
Yes. If she did have a microphone in her hand, it would be way different. If she was trying to make it as a stand-up comic and her material focused...
Wait, what? No, what? No, that's what... No, she is making content. What? I don't think that's the same standard at all. He has a lot of those takes, calls her a bitch all the time. Women cannot make jokes online. They always assume to be serious. Yeah, so I don't know anything about Akash's commentary on the relationship. Akash said it's just jokes, but people are claiming he's being abused and forced to lie about it. Yeah, the only thing that I think is like kind of... the only thing that I think is up, and it doesn't matter if it was Akash doing it to his wife, from my perspective, from my standards, right, is like talking about someone else's husband that's like right in the I mean, that's crazy, right? And it's the same if Akash was like, yeah, I'd love to dig out your podcast co-host. I'd be like, whoa, that's insane. Like, you guys are in a loving relationship. That's the mother of your children. Like that's my perspective. Maybe they don't have those standards, right? But that's it. That's what I would, that's the only thing that I've seen here that I'm like, ugh, she's otherwise like kind of annoying. But again, my standards different for everybody else. Am I crazy? Kind of wild to even say this lady's to talk to women because she makes some bait jokes on a podcast and a bad faith YouTuber compiles them all together. Reminds me of a certain American Deserved 9/11 situation. I mean, there are certain things that I think people can understandably take issue with that I have said. You know, I don't make any excuses for that. I have an entire library of commentary that people can point to. Like, here, I'll give you a better example than America Deserved 9/11, right? Because I clarified what I meant immediately after, and it was in 2019, and people still bring it up and be like, he says it every day. It's kind of funny, whatever, who gives a shit, right? But the one example that I think people use all the time that they have disagreements with is when I say like Hamas 1,000 times better than Israel, a take that I've also doubled down on. There is an underlying ideological tension with the way people receive that information, and there is reasonable disagreements with what I have to say and what people take out of that sentiment. But that from my perspective is a defensible take, right? Like, that's the reason why I say it. As a matter of fact, the conversation I think to have in the aftermath of that is a healthy one to have, and it's part of the reason why I say that thing that I say. I think that's a little bit different than like if people were using that as a reason and they were getting mad at that, that would be the equivalent here of her being like, I want to your podcast co-host. I bet he has a girthy cock, you know? Like, that's my version of it. Like, you can have a disagreement with that, but it's like a sincerely held position. We can have a conversation about that. Whereas the other stuff is like, you know, clip chimped or added onto the pile. Sometimes see a fair majority of men go in the incel direction for TikTok and social media, and I wonder if a lot of women are going this lady's path because of TikTok as well. Yes, I do think that. TikTok has fomented gender wars. It's unbelievable. And I do think that if we were just like, if we knew less about one another, and if we weren't trying to engage in this like algorithmically driven rage bait content in shorter and shorter bursts, given that people's attention spans have gotten shorter as well, we would probably live in a much healthier society. That's why we say touch grass, right? That's why we say communicate with one another in the real world. The reality of the matter is, if we did that more frequently, we would have infinitely healthier relationships. Absolutely. Born out of the unbelievable amounts of privilege that we have, living these incredible lives in the lap of luxury in the imperial core, we create these luxury beliefs and sometimes these luxury problems. We create these luxury problems for ourselves. I don't think that there is like this level of, I don't think these sorts of issues exist everywhere, you know? After all that information about the strange couple, you have to flash us MIB style, please, Hassan. Psst. Podcasting isn't reality. Her comment about the penis is just your insecurities talking. It's not even a comment about the penis. It's the fact that she's saying she wants to her podcast co-host husband. Like, that's disrespectful. I mean, I wouldn't be comfortable with a partner saying that, you know? I'm just saying those are my standards. If you think that that's insecurity, then sure. I wouldn't say that about someone else either. I mean, there are varying degrees of reality in content creation. There's varying degrees of reality in content creation. Like, there's a difference between doing that in a movie versus doing that in a comedy set versus doing that in a podcast versus doing that in a TikTok video. It's entirely dependent on the context. It's dependent on the tone. It's dependent on the setting. And I'm saying that from my estimation, talking about this possible fantasy, even if it's like how you're presenting yourself, even if it's like made up, presenting yourself this way is still going to be disrespectful to your partner, I think. I also do get like an overall vibe about the type of person that will like actively engage in this kind of rage bait. And I do think that it's lazy. And I think it's also not necessarily, I mean, it's somewhat disrespectful, but it's like also presenting the negative lens on your relationship as like the only way to farm impressions. And when you lean into that over and over again, you kind of put your relationship in second place status, right? Like it's toxic. To be fair, Akash cheats on her all the time by throating Schultz's dick every day. Well, apparently no longer will he be throating Schultz's dick because he left the podcast. 2 days ago, Akash said he's leaving Flagrant to pursue full-time comedy, but people are blaming his wife for it. Andrew Schultz reveals that Akash Singh has left the Flagrant podcast after 9 years to pursue stand-up comedy full-time after his relationship with his wife went viral months ago.
The elephant in the room, no pun intended, okay? As I'm sure you guys are aware, our boy Akash, he really went through it earlier this year, showed amazing resilience and, you know, selling out Radio City recently, setting records in Toronto, just crushing stand-up around the globe, and literally just like living the dreams that he would tell me about at 2 a.m. when we're eating egg sandwiches at Veselka. So it's been amazing to see, but the experience has put things in perspective for him, and he's made the decision to focus all.
I do think that there is a stranglehold that like incels have. Incels are extremely online, and they do have a legitimate stranglehold on content creation in some ways because people are so worried about disrupting that pattern and pissing them off that they like, God forbid, they God forbid ever take like an even-keeled approach on an issue or whatever. There is definitely a lot of audience capture that takes place in online content creation. And I will say, I will say that especially with the clip farming that takes place on Twitter and the right-wing framing that takes place on Twitter, a lot of content creators are terrified of pissing off those forces. So even if they don't personally believe certain things, they lean into certain biases, certain bias frameworks in their content creation, because God forbid they piss off those forces on the internet. Those guys they're very punitive. They're going to come after you. No one wants to be in the position that I'm in many respects. I think a lot of content creators see that and they either shut the fuck up about these issues and they never talk about it at all, or if they are going to talk about it, they just totally give up and they lean into the right-wing framing. They lean into the misogynistic framing in many respects because they just absolutely don't want to frustrate these right-wing losers. And it's kind of crazy because that in and of itself creates an environment where right-wing sentiment, especially on the internet, especially in independent content creation is unbelievably dominant, far more dominant than it is in the real world. And it creates an environment where more people become right wing because they think they watch this kind of stuff and they develop these habits without even realizing it. And they think, oh no, this is the normal, you know, they don't realize that they're a part of this feedback loop where they think, no, this is the normal way to think, you know? That's why my policy always is just be normal and say what you think. Yes, sure, people will clip you out of context. Sure, people will like try to punish you for having a take that's not a take that people might consider to be ridiculous or whatever the but I think it's way more important to stand by your principles than to lean into this kind of shit. Anyway,
he is going to be stepping away from the pod. It is bittersweet. You know, we wish that he did not want to do that. But at the same time, you know, it's very hard not to root for your friend, you know, literally living his dreams. And if he feels he's got to give everything to that, then that's exactly what he's got to do. And we're going to rock with him. We hope you guys continue to rock with him. Go check out the show. We saw the show Radio City. It's phenomenal. You guys should absolutely go check it out. akashsingh.com for tickets. So we just wanted to, you know, clear the air. Akash hasn't been on the pod for a while. We thought it was time that we, you know, talk to you guys about it.
I think it's positive for you to cover whether you want it or not. You're an online figure that demonstrates the possibility of nurturing a masculine identity without falling for insanely misogynistic tropes. Yeah, I guess like the number one thing that I always try to tell people is like, you know, people could just be dicks, right? Like they can be assholes, right? This lady, you know, doesn't seem to be that nice, and that's it. She's hot, but not very nice. It doesn't mean that there is like a broader. She's not like a representative of all women, for example. I think it's an unbelievably stupid approach to take to anything, really. I don't think people understand. Your partner, your wife, is a part of your person. Okay, you're a team. So when you disrespect your partner, you're disrespecting yourself. I have too much respect for myself to engage in that. So yeah, it's cringe all the same. If you're like, oh, my bitch ass wife doesn't cook or clean, it's like, what are you? What the okay, so you just kind of suck. Like, what are you talking about? Like, why are you in this relationship then? If you fucking hate it, if I'm to take it seriously, right? If we're looking at this stuff sincerely, if there's like a kernel of truth in the commentary and it's not just like someone doing a bit or whatever, then yeah.
Yeah, it's just really exciting. Like as a comic, I think we can understand. It's like, yeah, dude, you have an opportunity. I mean, he's going to be an MSG like soon.
Go get it.
You know what I mean?
Go get it.
It's cool to see.
Yeah.
And I remember the very first clip of this pod I ever saw before I was even on it was Premium Pete.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember?
Okay, so the rest of it is just them reminiscing. They don't even say anything. Except Schultz basically said in the beginning, like, oh, Akash really was going through it. And that's like the implication there is that the implication there is that he was just like getting flamed too hard. So that's what the people are running with. It is really funny at the end of the day that people are just like, oh, yeah, this guy's a real loser. Meanwhile, he like sold out Radio City.